The date today is May 23rd, 2016. The time is 5:30 p.m. This is the meeting of the Paris City Council. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We would start the meeting with invocation by Mr. Anderson, followed by Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Lancaster. If I can have everyone please stand.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, first of all, we praise your name, for you are worthy of that praise. And Father, we thank you, for we know that every good and perfect gift comes from you. Again, Father, pray for our elected officials tonight, that you would guide and direct them as they conduct the city's business. And we just pray, Father, that everything we do tonight will glorify your name. In Jesus' name we do ask it. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. If you want to address the council, please come forward, write your name and address for the record.
My name is Billy Bell. I live at 2054 Cleveland Street. Last Monday I come up here with a problem that I thought was severe, and Mr. Godwin, the city manager, and Jerry took the initiative, and they really worked themselves hard, but they got it all straightened up. I want to commend them for that and everything. I noticed in the paper where we're going to give out a $600,000 bid for the trail. When last week it was discussed about our drainage situations and our infrastructure and everything like that. I don't know how much of that money might be a grant or whatsoever, but I think we could use it more for that, to work on the city's infrastructure than I can the trail. Number two, the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. The church, and I'm not saying they own the little park and nothing else, but they've had a daycare and a school over for 100 years. We've never changed the speed limit. If we do it for this park, or we end up going doing it for every other park because of the kids that play in it, protect them just the same. That's all I'd like to say tonight. Thank y'all.
Good afternoon. Last week you sold a old police station for $600,000. I mean for $100 pardon me. Whenever you sell my property or their property, I want you to kindly tell us ahead of time who's buying it. I want to know who won the bid before you're voting to sell it. This adds to suspicion of our local government by the people, and it goes against the spirit of transparency. So I want you to remember this next time you sell some of my property or your property or their property for $1. Other thing is, speaking of open government and simplicity, you got a item here, number 12. I don't understand it. I mean, look at the wording on this thing. Could I have an English translation of it, please? I want it to be so dumbed down that even a reader of the Paris Daily News can understand this number 12. Next on the agenda is Mr. Frierson. Some people got flooded in your district, and they were here last week, but you weren't. I hope you got a good excuse, because some of them people really seem to have missed you, and they had some things to say to you, and whatever was going on last Monday, I hope it was really super important, more important than like a person having their house flooded. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Can I just ask a question with reference to, is there any problem in his suggestions? I'm just curious. Or do we need to add it as an agenda item and discuss it? Because, I mean, I see no harm in what he's asking for.
I'll be happy to look into that.
If we can, please. All right. Anybody else? If nobody else is wanting to speak, the Citizens Forum is closed at this point. Mr. Gladfelter, we'll have asked the city attorney, we'll look into it. If there's no legal issue, I don't see any reason why it can't be done. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Any of the council members have any questions on it? No one. If nobody has any questions, I'll take a motion on this item.
Motion to accept.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Next is the regular agenda, item number 10, discuss and conduct a second public hearing on an ordinance disannexing 3 tracts of land, 1.16, 2.45, and 160 acres of total of 164.31 acres in size located in the southeastern corner of Chisholm Abstract number 175 and northeastern corner of Borderland Abstract number 70, which is 0.75 miles northwest of the intersection of FM Highway 79 and Northwest Loop 289, with the 1.16 and 160.7 acre tract being located along the north side of FM Highway 79 and 2.45 tract located along the south side of FM Highway 79 and consisting of addresses ranging from 3194 FM Highway 79 to 3930 FM Highway 79 of City of Paris, Lamar County, Texas. This is the second of the two public hearings.
Yes, sir.
If anyone wants to speak, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Deidre Dollins. I reside at 3356 FM 79. And I think I've spoke every time we've had a meeting on this. And I, again, since we've been annexed, it's been 15 years and we've never received any services. I not only speak on my behalf and my husband, but also our neighbors that couldn't be here. Miss Carolyn Patterson, she's also one of my neighbors, and she asked that I read something that she typed up. She was not able to attend tonight's meeting because she had a prior engagement. She states that this is Carolyn Patterson, that she owns the property at 3203 and 3205 FM 79 Paris. So she's states that since there are no plans to extend any city services to these locations, that she requests that you vote to approve the de-annexation of all of the properties that are part of this public hearing. And that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wanting to speak? No. Oh, sorry.
My name's Ronald Dockray. I live at 3194 FM 79. I just wanted to show up and say that we wanted out.
If there's nobody else wanting to speak, the public hearing is now closed. This was the last and final public hearing?
Yes, sir, and you can act on the ordinance the meeting in June.
Okay, all right. So no action on this meeting?
No action.
Okay, we'll move to the next item. Item number 11 is discuss and act on ordinance of City of Paris amending the traffic control map adopted in section 3165 of Code of Ordinance City of Paris, changing the speed zone in the 10 block of 2nd Southeast between Lamar and Clarksville to 20 miles per hour from 30 miles per hour for safety of children playing in the new park, making other findings and provisions related to subject, providing for a repealer clause, a savings clause, and a penalty clause, and providing for an effective date. Before Mr. Huntley speaks, I'm going to try to say something, and that is, as we were explained last time, the reason for lowering the speed limit was because there is stand across where kids tend to run and go across the street. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So do we have similar stands in other parks too? I'm just addressing to his question because I think it's a very genuine question.
Yes, sir. There's several parks here in the city that are surrounded by 20-mile-an-hour zones.
By things like that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so if I was to, before you present, if I was to ask, what are you going to do about, is it going to be done to every park?
I'd have to take a look to see exactly which ones do not have a 20-mile-an-hour zone, and report back to you on that. But some of them are just like this situation where you have Clarksville and Lamar being basically governed by TxDOT. It's city street, we can change that speed limit pretty easily. TxDOT's a little bit more difficult to get through it, and sometimes you don't get through it.
Okay, continue with your presentation.
Simply put, Mr. Mayor and Council, is that we had a group of citizens affected with the park that approached us, asked us to change that speed limit from 30 to 20. I realize it's just for a one block area, but we feel like it, with the safety issue, that that's the least we can do. And it went in front of the Traffic Commission. It was voted through unanimously very quickly. And just as a sidebar, we did contact TxDOT about the speed limits on Lamar and Clarksville, and they have already installed signs of 20-mile-an-hour advisory signs for the park. So we have those signs up. They're just not a city ordinance or enforceable by radar writing a ticket or anything like that.
Any of the council members have any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. Certainly, I'm in favor of this. The times I've driven by that there were kids out there were a lot of kids out there, and they're literally feet from the street. And it concerned me, would it not be a good idea as well to look into the possibility of maybe a wrought iron fence or something? 'Cause
It's being done.
Is it being done?
There was something. I
Yeah, the
read
church is in the
something,
process of
yeah.
doing that.
Okay,
Right.
great, because I thought that would
It'll be
be
on 3 sides, north, south,
wonderful.
and
Okay,
west.
okay, great.
Anything?
Mr. Fryson?
No, I don't really have a question. I just, to back up the point of the recommendation of the commission is that I go through that space 2 or 3 times a day, and with the addition of the new snow cone stand across the street and then the restaurant as well, there are lots of children and lots of opportunities to cross the street there.
Right.
So you're thinking that it's a good idea?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, anybody else? No. All right, but then I'll take a motion on this item.
I make a motion.
All in favor? Second?
Uh-oh.
Sorry. Second by Mr. Trinado, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Item number 12, discuss and act on an ordinance of City Council of the City of Paris creating a municipal setting designation within the city's extraterritorial jurisdiction, providing a penalty clause, providing a savings clause, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date. So I'll make a motion to remove this item, but I 100% agree. Though this item has been on the agenda before and we've discussed it before, I think, but it is very difficult to understand exactly what it says. So maybe simpler description or something would be better. But anyway, I'll make a motion to untable.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Godwin, all yours.
This is the item, of course, you did have a presentation last week from the hydrologist. Specifically, this relates to our old landfill. It's been closed, physically closed for many, many years, inactive, but it's not closed as far as the TCEQ is concerned. For many, many years after a landfill ceased operations, you have to do a lot of different things. I won't get into that tonight, but one of the things that you have to do is be very, very careful of the water, because there's contaminants in any kind of a landfill, especially a landfill like the old school kind that didn't have liners and so forth and so on. This is an ordinance that fairly recent, I think 2003 state law allows cities, rather than having to sometimes clean up the water, if it's an area that's not going to be developed anyway, and this landfill is not going to be developed for future use, then you can just simply outlaw it, so to speak, or you can pass a local ordinance. It's called an MSD, and I don't know why they call it that. That's what they call it in state law. You can create an MSD, and within that MSD and within half a mile of that MSD, you can't put a well for drinking water for human purposes. And so this ordinance would protect people from drinking, or protect people from trying to use water from any of those properties. It should protect the city from potential litigation, but also it makes that water clearly not drinkable. In order to be eligible, you have to have the area has to be supplyable by some other drinking water server, and Lamar County Water Supply District has certified in writing that they can serve anybody within the area, so they're not dependent on a well.
Thank you. And Mr. Gladfelter, if you read the whole page which was written on the agenda item, it describes it, but I do agree that the language is difficult. Anybody on the council has any questions about it? Mr. Godwin, I have a question. What is the total expense that we are going to undertake for this?
For passing this ordinance,
Yeah.
there's not an expense.
I thought there was 196,000 or some odd amount written within that item.
There's expenses related to closing the landfill.
That's what I meant.
We've been
Not-
incurring that for the last few years.
But
You have to put a
there's
fence
no-
around it, but passing this ordinance doesn't,
it doesn't make us do
No.
something more.
no, this just means you can't drink well water off of there, and you wouldn't
Okay.
want to anyway.
All right. Any concerns, any questions on part of anyone? No, then I'll take a motion on this item
Make a motion
to approve.
to approve, yes.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Item passes. Item number 13, approve a contract with HWH Construction in the amount of $638 for the construction of West Paris multi-use trail. I think your idea is good, but I think there is some, we are getting a grant with it. So not all the money that is coming is from the city. Yeah, yeah. City engineer.
Good evening. This item will authorize a contract with Harrison, Walker, and Harper for the construction of a section of the Paris Trail from Bonham Street over to the Boys and Girls Club. We received 2 bids. We received 2 bids, and HWH was the low bidder for $638,644.80. And we have checked references and do recommend award of this contract. As you mentioned, this is an FHWA grant that was received, and they will pay 74% of construction costs, and then the city's responsible for any overages.
Any council members have any questions on this? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Discuss and appoint a city council representative to serve on the airport development committee. I think Mr. Godwin has written a detailed description on this on the agenda item. Do you want to discuss?
Well, just that we have a committee that will be composed of 7 members, and 3 representing the city, 2 are from the airport board. They've already been appointed by the airport board, so we need a council member to volunteer to be the 7th member. The first meeting is a week from Thursday, by the way. That's June the 2nd at 4 o'clock, if that matters.
All right. Do anybody wants to volunteer, or Ms. Lancaster? Is there anyone have any objection to Ms. Lancaster? No. All right. I guess Ms. Lancaster.
We need, thank you.
Item number 15, discuss plan for cleanup affected area of recent flood trash pickup, cleaning, growth, dirt, trash from drainage systems, and possibly take action. Discuss possible timelines for going forward with the release funds from the last council meeting of May 16 and possibly take action. This item was placed by Ms. Drake.
Yes. I know that everybody had affected areas in their district. I've had just tons of people stop by the house, email, calling me about getting just what we already have in place cleaned up from the floods. And I do know that the city crews were out, I think it was Thursday, over in my area doing some weed eating. And I know a tailgate's no longer there, some tires are no longer there, and a tarp is no longer there. But there's still a lot of debris, a lot of trash, a lot of mounds of dirt with small trees growing out of it. This morning when I went to work, it was raining. Those ditches were getting pretty full, and we didn't have the amount of rain that we had had these previous 2 times. So I'm just very concerned, not only for my district, but for the other districts, as to how we're going to go about getting those ditches cleaned up in a timely manner so that these people whose homes have been flooded are not flooded again. We've got some areas all across town where water is standing, and we've got some mosquito issues, not here right in Paris, but we don't want to have them, and there's water that's just standing. And some of it is in the flooded area, some of it's are just in ditches that didn't flood. The streets, like 500 block of Clarksville, Lamar Avenue, it goes on and on and on. I just feel like we need to prioritize, and we need to make sure our people are being taken care of so that this doesn't happen again. And I know there's still trash piled up along the street curbs. What is our plan for getting that up? I just feel like we need to have a timeline. Who's going to do it? Is it going to be the employees? Do we have money to hire some temps like we did during the ice storm? Can we get volunteers? Can we use probationers? Just would sort of like to know where we go from here and give some timelines so that these people know what to expect.
Okay.
You answering or Jerry?
Well, I'll start, and Jerry can provide details as we go. Of course, back last summer, I'll go back a little ways, we'd actually developed a plan ahead of time so that if and when we got money for drainage improvements, we'd be ready to go. So when the council took action last Monday night to appropriate $1.8 million for drainage improvements, we met right away. We pulled out that plan from last summer. We updated it, in fact.
Yeah.
That's a hard to see map. I also sent you some details of that last Friday by email. Hopefully you council members all got that. And we've got to look at the big picture from our end. We had a couple people today like, come fix my house. Well, you can't just do one house, one ditch or one channel, obviously. And you guys know that. So we're looking at it comprehensively. The areas that we've identified as and you hate to pick and choose, but the areas historically we've had the most problems with are southeast, and that's down around Austin, Washington, down in there. And that creek, in fact, runs all the way down here. And again, your first inclination is, well, let's start at the top and work our way to the outside. But the problem is, if you clean all of this out, all that water will stop here. So to do it right, and we need to do it right because it hasn't been done right, I guess, since 1992, because that's how old that study was. You need to start up here. The other area that we've had a lot of trouble with is here. And so those are the two areas we're talking about really starting a lot. Now, there's some places like Old Jefferson that I'm going to go look at tomorrow where it just plain on needs some ditches cleaned out, and we'll be addressing that. There's a place down here where a bridge needs to be replaced. There's a lot of kind of single point places that need to be done. But our volume's got to be increased. And the volume is because it's too small, it's broken, it's silted in, it's got trees growing in. There's lots probably cause to have issues with volume. And we're trying to do it kind of a wide approach. And we've even changed a little bit since that email on Friday where we've got, and kind of, you're hitting on the same things we've talked about. We'll be using city crews, in fact, specifically here this afternoon. Just late breaking news. The street department would kind of like we did with the ice storm, with different departments or divisions within Public Works will have responsibilities. Street department's going to start cleaning ditches from 6th to 12th southeast, from Jackson to New Jefferson, or I guess that's just Jefferson Road. The Parks Department will be cleaning drainage ditches from the 1000 block of Jackson North to 8th Southeast, and Washington to 5th and Austin, and Jackson to the 1100 block of Heron. The CIP crew, which normally does utilities, but they're kind of available to do whatever. We're going to pull them off of doing what they're doing. They'll be working at the Trail Bridge at Sports Complex North to the Police Department, Clarksville, and that's the Buttermilk branch down here. They'll be using heavy equipment. These other guys will be using weed eaters and chainsaws and shovels and rakes or whatever they can. But we'll be using heavy equipment to clean out this ditch, the creek down below. And then up in the northwest, we're going to use a contractor to begin working Leon Williams Park Southwest, Northwest, East 200 yards, then West to 10th and 11th, then Northwest Center, 1800 block of Henderson. So again, trying to address those big issues. And if you're not on one of those topics, it doesn't mean we don't care, won't get to you, but those are the ones where we've had the most issues for years, and those are the ones where we had the most issues the other night. And a lot of those back up, like even though, like for some of these up in here were huge, it's because once the water gets so far, it can't get out, because this creek has been silted for years and years and years.
Yeah.
It's just not big enough.
We've
also talked about using probationers. Jimmy Don does a great job getting stuff done for us. You know, he helped us a huge amount last year cleaning out the park. So we do hope to do that, and visited with Jerry about that just today. Talked to the police chief last week about the possibility of bringing back prisoners from Bonham. They did that once upon a time. That kind of had mixed results from what I'm told. So we've done that. So yeah, we're kind of all excited. Then we were given $1.8 million to solve a problem we've been getting beat over the head with for years. We want to get out there and do it as quickly as possible. And estimating on time, you know, it's a months long project.
Sure.
And so it's not going to be an immediate thing. For a lot of reasons, we hope we don't have rain like that. We got a lot of construction projects. Like we were supposed to start paving some roads today, which didn't happen. Obviously, just as an example of why the rain's driving us all crazy. But we're getting after it. I think pretty quickly. People should be working this week. Again, depending on rain. Jerry, I'm talking fast, but any other detail that you want to throw out there?
No, when he talked about the contractor, we're actually getting pricing from a couple of contractors, probably 3. Got that narrowed down to about what that's going to cost us per hour. Some want to do it linear foot, so we're working on that, getting that done. Our CIP group, which is going to work, they're going to start at the trail bridge, working back toward the old Buttermilk branch back that way. Even though they're working, and we're calling that our rehab group, okay? And these other groups are coming in, they're cleaning, they're clearing, they're grubbing. We're going to identify some rehab projects in that too. It's not just cutting down the brush and getting the stuff out of the ditches. The town's full of the old WPA ditches. They're not deep enough. They were created years ago before, you know, we were blessed with growth. So now we're fighting that. So even as we go through and clean these areas, we're going to identify areas that our rehab groups are going to come back in and actually widen, clean, concrete. You know, at some point, you know, there may be some engineering required in it, and Carla's prepared to help us with that. We're going to get that going when need be.
Let me just jump in, Jerry. I'm sorry, but specifically because we don't want to drag this on, and we don't want to walk along and, oh, we should have done it. So we're going to contract with an engineer as soon as we can.
Yeah.
So if we need them, we have them. If we don't need them, that's okay. But we're going to get an engineer on board as well. So
I do have a question here. Paradise Estates
right.
was filled. You have not discussed anything. I take it number 10 is marked as Paradise.
That's that general here. Yes, that's that drainage way. This is Paradise Estate that's down in here. So that's the ditch, the drainage that goes through there. Yes.
Okay, so that is marked. And North Main was the other place which was completely full of water, which I don't see anywhere marked North Main.
Well, part of that will be over here where you see Center Street and what have you.
Yeah.
A lot of that water goes that direction.
Okay.
We've got to kind
So
of.
we are addressing that too.
Yeah, and even though those are the marks on the map, there's smaller ditches that intervene and move around that will be taken care of in that as well.
And then the other place which I remember from last time is Sherman Street.
Mhm.
Sherman is it Sherman right in here? Talking about East Sherman?
I don't remember East Sherman or what, but it was Sherman Street, and I remember the house number 3320 or something like that.
Right.
And madam, you were there last time too, right? You came and said something. What was your address?
My address is 1017. It was
She's on Old Jefferson.
Old Jefferson. Okay, and that is being taken care
Yeah,
of.
that's where our street crew will actually come in and start cleaning the road ditches, road signs.
I just want to be sure that the people, I mean, I understand the priorities that you have, which is all fine, but I think our also priority is the fact that there were residents who specifically came and complained. And yes, your priority is important, but if somebody is not complaining that much, well, they need to come and complain. So I would rather also take care of those people who have actually taken the time to come out and complain.
And we had some more that were here last week.
Yes, who are not here. So I don't think I
Not
want
speaking
to
for them.
have any of them ignored today just because they have taken the time to come and complain. They have written notes to us. And yes, your priorities are all good, but I want to be sure that those people who came and complained, that they are addressed, whether they are in this project or not.
And
Well,
if we
Dr.
had
Hosmer-
volunteers that are willing to clean up some of that and get it to the curb, is the city gonna pick that up?
Matter of fact, that I'm glad you brought that up. We've had several calls today. If you have a ditch or a waterway in your area, behind your house, beside your house, if you're cleaning that and putting it by the curb, call us. We will pick it up at no charge. That's helping us get those ditches clean. So now, if it's just a random tree trim on a hilltop, then, I mean, regular rules apply, but.
And I have one other question. Some of these ditches which are going to private property, how is that handled?
Well, Texas Water Code says those people cannot block and they cannot be blocked, so we have the right to move in. We're gonna do our very best to get.
Oh, I understand that, but who's going to pay for it? Is the city going to pay for cleanup of that ditch or what?
Dr. Housman, we nearly have to. I mean, it's one of those deals you can't clean up to this point and then jump and get upstream. I mean, it has to be a continual clean. I mean, it's, unfortunately, even though it is owned by someone, it is a waterway that is restricted. We do ask those people to clean their ditches. It is theirs to maintain. However, in our process, we've just got to keep moving through that. And I mean, I'm hoping that people don't just ignore their ditches because they think we're gonna do it. I think most people are conscious to get the water off of them, and they'll do justice on their side.
My next question is the fencing that surrounds those ditches, those concrete ditches. There's a lot of damage to those. And of course, my concern is the safety. If we, in a big rain, kids getting down in there. Where before, I mean, they are just flat. There's some of them that there's this much gap between the concrete and it's just sort of out there flapping. Do we have something in line to?
Well, hopefully we have appropriated the funds. So
that's what I mean, to get those fixed.
Yeah, again, I don't know if you're talking about specific locations, but that's part of the whole process is that those areas start with the ones that are the worst first.
Yeah.
And some of those are kind of what he's talking about, and I was too, as far as like volume reductions. You've got old concrete or old this and that are washed out.
Yeah, they were fine until the flood.
That reduces the volume dramatically too.
Yeah, they were fine until the flood, and now they're just.
There's a lot of different things that have happened through lack of maintenance over many, many years, and lack of construction over many, many years.
And we'll be looking for that kind of stuff.
Okay,
we may miss some, but if you do,
I got a whole list.
Yeah, and you know, just because these are the ones we mentioned today, this is our kickoff, get started areas.
And I know we have to start somewhere, but I feel like the public needs to know.
It is, you know, it's an
what we're
ongoing
planning on doing
process.
and where we're
And a
going.
minute asked me for a list, and I'll get you a real map now that we've got this kind of laid out. And two, just kind of what some of your questions and what Jerry's saying, and I don't have anything else after this, but there's kind of two different sorts of things. And one of it is, and I encourage you not to let us get distracted or get yourself distracted, and that is we really do need to do it right and do the whole thing, not just pieces. But there are individual places where we do need to just grab a chunk of concrete or grab an old dead tree. So we'll be doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
Old Jefferson, most of it, some of it will get affected by this because it ultimately runs down here too, so it'll help that too. Some of that is they just need somebody to go out there and clean their ditch out, from what I've been told. I'm gonna go out there and look for it myself tomorrow, and we've got people scheduled already.
Well, that's the reason this list says to New
So
Jefferson.
there's two different things. There are some spots, but we don't want to do nothing but spots, or then 2 more years we'll go, gee, we spent $1.8 million and it still looks as
Still
bad.
looks the same.
We've got to do it comprehensive. We've got to do those long stretches.
I agree.
Ms. Hufnagel, you have a question?
My question is, there's gravel all over the city that is going down to the drainage ditches. That's filling up those sewer pipes and the drainage ditches. How is that going to be cleaned out? The gravel, I think, is a major issue that's being washed down those ditches.
We've addressed some of this from our EMAR construction projects that's happening. And what we're doing is we're actually taking the city hydro excavation truck out and sucking a lot of that out as we identify it.
That big gravel you're sucking out.
Yeah, we
We even had ballast off the railroad tracks that got washed out in the last 7-inch rain and stopped up the drains with big railroad ballast.
Does any of the council members have any questions or comments? Okay, so in other words, you have a program and you're going to tell us what the program is and publicize the program so that people expect maybe not exact timeline, but somewhere in the neighborhood that we have some idea of what's going on.
It's a high priority.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I certainly agree with council member that said that there's problems all over and everybody wants to get their areas. I just wanted to say that I appreciate Mr. Eric Jenkins last week after the city council meeting came over to our area, stopped and talked to me and talked to Ms. Cooper and several others down there. And we appreciate somebody from the city council coming over and looking at the problem firsthand. Also, I talked with Mr. Godwin tonight before the meeting started. I invited him over and and he's agreed to come over tomorrow between 1 and 4 and look at our problem. We live directly beside Mr. Tornado out there. He's already aware of the problem, and the problem affects him as well as myself, Ms. Cooper, and also Mr. Throckmorton, who's a truck driver and could not be here tonight. So any of the other council members, mayor, if you'd like to come over also, we'll make ourselves available and explain, one, the problem and the solutions, and there's more than one, to the problem as we see it. Ms. Cooper's going to be available tomorrow when Mr. Godwin comes over. We'd love to have any of the rest of them who would like to come over too. Again, I know everybody in the city wants their area. We just want a little bitty crumb of that 1.84 million to come over there for Jefferson. It sounds like you're addressing that, and we do appreciate that.
Ms. Cooper, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. Mr. Dare. You know, I know we on a budget, but why should we have to use all of the budget, use most of the budget to clean them? When people have private property, if they could rent it, why can't they keep it clean? You know, they own this, you know, like, you know, I'm just passing, I just thought about what Mr. Jerry was saying, that we can't ignore it. But why are we gonna spend all our budget, and I know y'all probably need money to do other things with, but if they could rent their property, and the people have cattle and stuff on those properties, what are they doing with the money that they get the rent for the people they rent to? I mean, that's just a question.
Ms. Cooper, I'm not going to go started on that discussion. Thank you for the suggestion. We'll look into it, and city manager can get back to you on what our options are. Yeah.
And I'll see you tomorrow.
And I would just like to say thanks, Mr. Godwin, and you for getting right on this, and I'm sure the people of Harris will appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing where we go from here.
All right. With that said, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, Mr. Jenkins called. He had to take his wife to the doctor, so that's why he's not here. Item number 16 is consider and approve future events for the city council or city staff pursuant to resolution 2004-081. Anyone? No. Item number 17.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Thank you very much.